Hi everyone, my name is Satya and this is a quick demo of yaci-store. Basically how to install yaci-store using Java or using Docker. So if you don't know about yaci-store, yaci-store is a modular library in Java to build your own scope indexer for Cardano. Yaci-store also comes with some default indexers. The first one is yaci-store-all, which basically indexes everything, and there is another one which is called yaci-store UTXO indexer, which only indexes UTXO specific data. But in this demo, we're just going to go through how you can install and run yaci-store all indexer. And as I mentioned, there are two ways to run yaci-store. First one is with Java, and second one is with Docker. Let's start with the first one with Java. So to run yaci-store all with Java, you first need to install Java 21, and there are various ways using which you can install the Java 21 on your system. Probably one of the quickest way is to use SDKMan. And once you have installed Java 21 on your machine, you can go to yaci-store GitHub project and then go to the download section and you can download yaci-store-all jar file. What I'm going to do now, I'll just use wget and download this jar file here. So I have this jar file now. Then then you need to download application properties file, uh, but you have to basically create a folder called config, and inside the config folder you can download the application.properties file. This is the main configuration file for yaci-store. And if I open this file here, you can see you can provide which network to connect to. If you have your own Cardano node, you can replace this default value of Cardano host and port with your own host and port. And you can see here our configuration is now current configuration is now pointing to preprod network. I can just change it to my own Cardano host and Cardano port, which is running for preprod network. You don't need to do anything else for now for any public network. But if you scroll down, the next thing is basically you need to select the database. So yaci-store out of box supports three kind of databases: H2, Postgres, and MySQL. So for this demo, we'll be using Postgres database, and I'll be pointing to a schema called demo. So let me first show what is there inside this demo schema. If you can see, the demo schema is basically empty. There is no table inside there. Um, okay, so then if I scroll down application properties again, um, you can actually leave all other configurations as it is. And if you can see here, there are some configurations specific to stores. So in yaci-store, basically there is a concept called store, and there are stores specific to specific kinds of data. Like there's a store called UTXO store, and there's a store called block store, and there's a store to have script related data. So you have an option to basically enable or disable a particular store, and in yaci-store all, basically all the stores are enabled by default, but you can always enable and disable based on your requirement. So in this particular demo, we're just going to run with the default configuration. So what I can do now, I can go to my top folder where I have this yaci-store all jar file, and I'm now running this jar file using java-jar command. And you can see yaci-store now started, and it's now fetching block data starting from Genesis block. for preprod network. Now, if I go to the database, I can refresh it, and you can now see all the tables created by yaci-store. And if you click on the block table, you can see the block data here. And then if you go to, let's go to another table, okay, txt input or address UTXO, here you can see all the UTXO's data so far fetched from the blockchain. Okay, so the next demo we are going to see is how to run yaci-store using Docker or Docker Compose. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to remove whatever I have here in my demo folder. And to run a Docker Compose file, first you have to get all Docker Compose files. Right now, these files are inside this Docker subfolder in yaci-store repository. And the quickest way to get these files are just by doing git clone of this repository. So, okay, so let's see what is there inside this folder. And now if you can see here, inside Docker folder, there are many Docker Compose files with different configurations. So let's check this. So let's check this yaci-store-all monolith YML file. So this Docker Compose file basically has two services. One is yaci-store Postgres database, and the second one is yaci-store-all. So if you use this Docker Compose file, you don't need to run Postgres as an external process. So just using one Docker Compose command, both the services will be up. And there is also a application.properties file here, which has exactly same properties as we saw during our Java demo. And you can also change the database configuration and other settings here. And there is also a file called env. You can also add additional properties here. And also, if you open yaci-store-all Docker Compose YML file, and you can see the default configurations here. It's basically the database URL is pointing to the Postgres database running through this Docker Compose file. So we can just keep these default values as it is, and then use Docker Compose -f our Docker Compose file, and then up -d. So this will pull the specific image like yaci-store-all image, Docker image, and Postgres Docker image, and start both the containers on my local machine. Okay, it's all started. Now if I do a tail -f, I can see the yaci-store has already started, and it's trying to connect to the Cardano node, and now it started fetching block data. So it will take some time, probably an hour, to fully sync the whole network, preprod network. And there is a PostgreSQL.sh file through which you can also access the Postgres database running in the Docker container. So if you see here, you can see there are two schemas, public and yaci-store, and our data is basically stored inside yaci-store schema. So we can go into yaci-store schema and can see all the tables created by yaci-store-all application. And that's it. That's how you can use yaci-store or run yaci-store using Docker and Java. Before I end this video, I would like to highlight that yaci-store also comes with a few out-of-box API endpoints. And if you go to localhost 8080 Swagger URL, you can see all the REST endpoints supported by yaci-store. These API endpoints can be enabled or disabled through application.properties file. And finally, You can also submit transactions through yaci-store, but by default, this endpoint submit API endpoint is not enabled. But we can cover that in one of the future video. Thanks for watching.